Damn, he flipped me up twice.
That was definitely just acting.
It's a
Like,
huge no effect song. I'm definitely not going to sing it to you because you're the singer here, not me.
tried to cancel us for 5 years straight.
That's for another fucking episode, Chris,
Yeah,
all
right.
right?
Forever, ever.
Forever, ever.
That guy has gotten away with everything, but
I'm rocking with the quarter truth of Wikipedia here.
they can keep trying. But every time they run articles about this or that, or Traps, the singer of Trapped is this guy or that guy or bad guy, whatever you want to call me, the numbers go up.
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't. How's it going, Chris?
Pretty good. Just hit a workout in. I went a little longer than I thought it would.
You're good. Where are you headed? Back to the hotel?
Yeah, head back there, chill out. We got a noon checkout, so the guys are still sleeping, of course.
Where are you joining us from?
We're in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Had a day off yesterday, and yeah, just heading over to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for tonight's show.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much for taking the time, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, listen, before we start, I've got to know. Clearly, you're working out, but you look fucking great. What's the secret?
I don't know, man. It's luck, I think. People ask me that all the time, and I can't say that I'm like an angel when it comes to like taking care of myself like I probably should. But you got to live a little. But yeah, I think luck. It's just a lot of luck.
Luck and good genes. I was actually laughing at this post you made on Instagram where you were like, 18-year-old me wouldn't believe that I would find a girl like you or something like that. Don't quote me on it,
Something like
but
that.
yeah, something like that. Obviously, I think your girlfriend is absolutely stunning. She is so
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it's my fiance, so
Oh, your fiance,
locking
congrats.
that in. Yeah,
Amazing. Well,
yeah.
congrats on that. Obviously, you were poking fun at your 18-year-old self. Do you feel like it was post high school where you started to feel this glow up about how you felt about what you look like, if that makes sense?
I think that happened a little earlier. I used to have the glasses and all that stuff. I think I was kind of dorky, but like sophomore year of high school, I got contacts and I had no more glasses, and I was well into football and all that good stuff. That's kind of like when I was 15, where it was like kind of a difference in how I saw myself and how I think girls saw me. So it was pretty cool time in my life right there. Football was becoming a major thing. I started getting on stage and performing, and Trapt hadn't started yet, but I was definitely doing the talent shows and just kind of finding my voice as a performer. And yeah, 15 was like definitely where I moved to the next phase, I think, of my life. And I think since then, you just keep on going, reaching goals and making goals for yourself and trying to reach them. And I think that's what life's all about. Once you accomplish one thing, it's time to move on to the next thing.
Dude, absolutely. Well, you said it so perfectly earlier. You were like, you got to keep living life. That's one of the secrets to it for sure.
Sad.
Well, I hope you are ready to ditch the old fucking questions, dude, because I have
Great.
got some interesting questions to see how you're going to think quick on your toes and
Okay,
answering questions you've never answered before. So, you ready to start?
let's do it.
Amazing. Well, first of all, I want to clarify something in regards to the earlier days of Trapped. If I'm not mistaken, I was reading that you had joined the band shortly after, but prior to joining, they were a No Effects cover band. Is that correct?
No, our bass player played in a band called Nothing Substantial, and they would do covers of different punk songs and original songs. So that's where the Wikipedia gets that whole thing. But three-quarters of the guys who started Trap definitely didn't cover No Effects songs. So yeah, that was Pete and his band before Trap.
Gotcha. It's so funny reading the Wikipedia shit, right? I'm sure
Yeah,
for yourself, you're like always reading the inaccuracy of it, right?
yeah, lots of half truths, quarter
Exactly.
truths.
Hey, the quarter truths. I love it. Were you a big punk scene kid when you were in high school?
I loved all the grunge, Pearl Jam, Donna, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and then started getting into new metal stuff. Korn, and Biscuit, Pop Roach. I played with them when we were 15 or 16. I think we had just started the band. Basically, 6 months after starting it, we did a show with Pop Roach and a band called Snot, and yeah, that was awesome. It was just very. And this band called Dredge that went to the same high school as us and would play with Papa Roach a bunch. And but that was so inspiring, because we were 15 when we first saw Papa Roach and Dredge at our local like club in San Jose. We were in Los Gatos, and San Jose had this club called Cactus Club, and that's where so many bands in the Bay Area got their start, and that was just so inspiring to see that at 15, and then that sophomore year of high school, that summer we right after that we started the band, yeah, it was, that's all the bands that really got us wanting to be on stage and doing what they were doing.
Very cool. Well, in honor of the quarter truths of Wikipedia, real quick, because I thought it was funny that it did say, it was like a No Effects cover band. And I was like, oh, fuck,
Yeah,
like I'm from the West Coast, I'm from LA. And so I was like, oh, I'm a huge No Effects fan. And I've talked about them on the show before about how
yeah,
a lot of people were so surprised that I was a huge, less than Jake fan, No Effects MXPX, because I'm a choreographer, I'm flamboyant, I don't
yeah.
fit what people would normally think I would listen to. And so very quickly, I just want to see what will come out of your mouth with this question because I'm rocking with the quarter truth of Wikipedia here. If Chris had something that was sticking in his eye, what would it be?
If I had what in my eye?
If you had something sticking in your eye. Do you know that song, by the way?
No, not really.
It's a
Like,
huge No Effects song. I'm definitely not going to sing it to you because you're the singer here, not me.
uh, probably a wood plank.
Perfect. That's the straightest thing you could say.
Yeah, right.
Amazing. Well, you're currently doing this acoustic tour, and
Yes,
I wanted to ask you about the first time you ever heard any of these original songs from the first debut album on acoustic. Do you remember that?
a lot of the songs started on an acoustic guitar, so like that's a big way that we start writing songs, sitting on the acoustic guitar and hanging out, sitting on a couch, having a beer or watching TV or whatever. And that's I've been doing that since I was 12, and so like a lot of our songs start acoustic guitar, and then if it becomes a song, then we keep going with it and make it into a full song with everybody adding their pieces to it. But if it doesn't get off the ground with just a vocal and strumming on acoustic, then we don't really bother. I mean, there's been a few songs where they were written like just jamming, but that's kind of a rare thing. But usually we gotta try to find some kind of idea and a hook, a lyric, a melody for the music, and if we can find something there, then it's might as well get it to a full song. But yeah, we've always had acoustic guitars, always been a big thing for our band.
Well, I know for me, like I wasn't surprised given the fact that you guys had the song Stories on there.
Too much of the same stories in our lives. I think it's time for us to walk away from here. Stories in our lives, we keep them all inside. Stories in our lives, we keep them all inside.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, is that on the set list for this tour?
Yep. We're definitely doing stories every show. We do like 17 songs a night. I did a bunch of lives, going live on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, and really got a good idea of what songs people are going to want to hear over the course of a few months. And so, every song we have picked because we just have a lot of demand for it from the fans.
I feel like acoustic is a very intimate thing, even though I feel like it's obviously not just you and one guitar, right? Like, I feel like you guys are still putting on a very well-produced show on this tour. Do you feel like there was ever any part of you that was a little bit nervous to do something in this intimate setting with just being an acoustic tour?
Uh, you know, there was times where I would do acoustic stuff, storytellers type thing with a few other bands and that kind of thing. Or probably like 2011, like the first time I really did it. And then years went by and we did we did Make America Rock Again 2 years in a row, 2016, 17. But in 2017, I just figured, we got to add another dimension to our set. Like Seven Dust is a great acoustic set. Breaking Benjamin, Theory of Dead Man. A lot of these bands see the value in coming with a different look, and then the same kind of show you do year after year, and every couple of years doing something different. Yeah, I started that in 2017. I told my agent, just book me 3 weeks of shows that I just gonna have to get ready for. And once the shows are booked, then I have to practice. I don't like just sitting around and practicing. That's why I love going live because it's like you're still rehearsing. You're still getting tighter at what you do, but it feels like more like a show than just practicing. So, but when I had those 3 weeks of shows, I hadn't done that yet. I hadn't done a real set. I've done a few songs here and there on stage like that, but I just had to kind of learn all the songs from like a bass, rhythm guitar, and lead guitar in one type of performance. With one guitar. So it took me a good 3 weeks to get ready for that 3 week tour, and every day, 8 hours a day, just really hitting it hard so that I wouldn't look like an idiot up there. And yeah, it worked out. I'm light years better than those 3 weeks, but I pulled it off. But yeah, just over time, just it's gotten to the point where it's just second nature, where you can just kind of hear yourself as a third person almost, instead of like making sure what am I playing? Am I playing it right? Am I singing it right? All that stuff, all that goes out the window, and you're just playing and getting in the groove, and you're just hearing the show like you're in the audience, and that's like this kind of out of body experience. And I think it's just you just let go. You don't worry about screwing up or any of that stuff. You just do not think, and you just play, and it really is kind of like out of body experience. It's awesome. It's just it's a different thing than just going up there and being the front man. And I play on probably half the songs on our electric full rock band set, anyways, at this point. But just having to do the whole set, with doing a lot of the main guitar stuff and vocals, and we have bass and Cajon, our drummer, plays on sits on this Cajon and racks on that thing, and then our guitar player, our lead guitar player. But we both play the lead stuff here and there. Depends on the song. But yeah, it's just like the more that we do it, the better we get at it, and the more fun it is.
No, I mean, the videos look absolutely amazing. I was like, this is not what I would have thought an acoustic set would look like. Like, again, it was just a full production, in my opinion, and I feel like it's being done with such good taste. And
Yeah,
going back real
fun.
quick to something about, your self-titled album from like 23 years ago, which is gnarly to even say, right? Is there a song on this album? Because I'm kind of freestyling here because you said something about going on live on these social media platforms to kind of practice, get some jitters out, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
and hearing the feedback of what the fans wanted to hear on tour. Is there
yeah,
a
that's a big
song?
deal.
Oh, it's such a huge deal. And I feel like that's such a smart move on your end too, being able to kind of test the waters a little bit, and capitalizing on social media. Is there a song on this self-titled album from 23 years ago that, in Chris's opinion, maybe it could have been the it song back then, but looking back at 23 years later, it's one of your most underrated songs on that album that people love, if that makes any sense?
I don't know. I feel like all the songs that I would think that people would really like, that you kind of like it in the order I would think. I mean, it's like Headstrong was obviously the big one from that album, but I think Echo really turned out to be one of the standout tracks, and we always thought it would be. But I think radio heard Headstrong, and then they heard Echo, and they're like, wait, what? So like two different bands.
I don't need to solve this case, and I don't need to look behind. Close my eyes, let the whole thing pass me by. There is no time to wait, asking why. I'll run away with you by my side. I'll run away with you by my side. I need to let go, let go, let go, let go of this pride.
But I think a lot of bands do that now. I mean, a lot of bands have like a heavy songs, and then they have like their ballad songs. But maybe we're a little ahead of the curve on that one. But yeah, it's definitely a song that's just kind of found an audience outside of the traditional radio stuff that was going on in the the first decade of 2000s, and just kind of really and really have found its own journey as far as finding new fans. So it's really cool. Just the internet and streaming, your songs just kind of take a life of their own and find fans that aren't even looking for it, and you just get more new people at the shows, and it's great. Every year is a new thing.
Well, and very quickly, because I'm also fascinated by the thought, I've never thought about even bringing this up to an artist that has been doing this as long as you have, where I don't think people realize the fucking power of a band when you can sell all these records before streaming platforms, but then put it all on a streaming platform and then rack millions of streams on it too. Like it's just mind-blowing to me. Is there a song in your catalog that you were surprised to see that people were streaming a lot?
Yeah. I mean, this song, Bleed Like Me, it's on our second record. And it was the first song that I wrote for the second album, you know. And I remember the second. It was Use Me to Use You and Bleed Like Me were the first two, but I'm not sure which one came first. Around the same time. But yeah, it's these guys called the Trend Twins. They're just weightlifters, you know, and I guess they take trend, whatever the hell that is. And they have this huge social media following, you know, all over YouTube and just all this, mainly YouTube. They just do like a 5 minute video of like all the lifts they did that day and kind of show what they're doing and just have the song playing in the background.
But my scars with understanding, but I can't promise anything. Can you tell that I pick my poison well, that I have no more to sell to you? Is it really that important that I settle down? Does it really even matter that I have my doubts? I search for the one who needs. I reach for the one who bleeds.
And they did that, and the song just went super viral and just like a whole new audience for it. And it's been staying strong. And that was probably like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that, maybe more than 6 months ago. But it's like now in the top 10 songs all over on all the streaming platforms. So I think it went from like, I don't know, 500 streams a day to like, or probably like 1,000 streams a day to like 5,000 now. So it's just really cool to see that kind of, blow up like that. I remember probably like 6 or 7,000 every day. So it's, yeah, like 1,000% increase. So it was pretty awesome to see that.
Dude, hell yeah. I get
Yeah.
goosebumps just hearing it because I'm like, I'm obviously not fucking blind, right? Like I see what people say on social media and, I feel like you have been come out very fucking harshly and I am just like completely more in awe with you because you're the perfect proof of resilience. You're like, listen, fuck what everyone has to say on social media. I'm still going to
Yeah.
go on
That's all
tour.
we can do, right? I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Music business is part of the media. And if you say mainstream media is lying to you about this, and that, everybody knows they lie about a whole sorts of things. And still, oh, did you hear what so and so said? And this and that. It's like you still believe these people. Unbelievable. So, that's why they're pissed at me. And it's, PR agencies and they're trolls there's paid trolls that will do this and that. And, we have comments where, oh, I'm getting paid to hear, troll Trapt. And we, plenty of those. And there's plenty of people who don't get paid and are just following along, like, just wanting to be part of some kind of echo chamber, but it's mainly just, I stood up against the things that I saw that were lies and that were wrong all through 2020. I mean, I did it since 2015, but 2020 was, I guess everybody was sitting at home. So it was like more of a magnifying glass on it. But yeah, I just was like, I'm sick of just one sided thing. And so I just took the opposite side of what the music industry was pushing on their fans, and just saying, well, that's wrong, or they're lying about this or lying about that. And so they, the media has come after us. Social media definitely makes things as hard as they possibly can. We've got 2 million people listening to us, just like in the United States alone, every week, and the social media won't let us reach those people. And it's just like people go, oh yeah, right, yeah, right. You're not being shadow banned. It's like 2 million people a week and we can't reach them. Like, oh, they just want to listen to music. They don't want to follow the band on social media. That's BS. They tried to ruin the band. They tried to cancel us for 5 years straight. And that they're failing because they keep trying to do it. They keep trying to rehash a 5-year-old joke, about, the hot for teacher situation. And as a man, I'm a little harder on men, and I have said, hey, I'm sorry. I mean, being insensitive to any dude who is, take advantage of by his older female teacher when he was 15. If that happened to you, I'm sorry for being insensitive, but I'm pretty sure most of the people coming after me and pretending they're so outraged by that joke, high five the high school kid. It's like how many comedians have made the same exact joke? Zach Galifianakis, what happened to the 15-year-old who had an affair with his older teacher? He got high five to death. It's the same joke that I was making. And it was just because it was a conversation out of like biological men and women's sports. I'm of the opinion that's just not very fair. Even the governor of California is coming out there saying it's not fair. And so that's where it comes from. It's not fair because testosterone. That's it. And so if people come after me with that joke, it's like it's just this whole like let's make everything equal, even when it's not equal, and some like that's part of society. It's like some people win, some lose. They can't do everything they want, but that's we all give up certain things, to make a society fair for everyone, or at least as close as we can get it. And so that was, that's where the joke came from. 15-year-old soccer kids, in high school beat the Olympic women's team. And you're telling me that same 15-year-old male should be able to go and play against the other 15-year-old females? It's like, so that's where that whole thing came from. It was like, women can't forcibly make men do anything. And then they're like, well, then they talked about the teachers and getting caught. And I'm like, oh, come on. So, that's where the jokes came from. It was like, it triggered the other person. And then they ran with that joke and, oh, he's supporting this and supporting that. And it's like, look, I never said anything that a teacher breaking the law shouldn't be punished. Punish them. But I just think that the dude and, going after like a single digit age little boy or something, that's just so much worse in my opinion, just because testosterone and the aggressiveness and the strength and the differences in men and women. So whatever, but that's what they try to like pinpoint that because they can just not say the actual details of what was said and just make up their own kind of thing on it. And he's this, he's that. But yeah, it all came from just pushing back against mainstream media lies, and music industry is part of the media. And I think it's they owe their allegiance to like propaganda over just trying to make money in the music business. It's like that's secondary to their main job, which is to influence people to do whatever the heck the owners of the media want. So, that's what's going to happen. And I hope I haven't discouraged any other bands to try and push back against what are lies, but probably did. They're probably all scared. Oh, they don't want trolls coming after us like they come after Trapt. But yeah, our job now is to survive and keep rocking, keep doing our thing, and our streaming numbers keep going up year after year. I mean, we were at like 5 million across 5 different streaming apps, and now it's over 9 million. It's almost doubled in just 4 years. So early 2021 to now, and this year's shaping up to be a great year. One of the best. I think this is going to be one of the best in the last 4 or 5. So they can keep trying, but every time they run articles about this or that or Trapt, the singer of Trapt is this guy or that guy or bad guy, whatever you want to call me, it's just the numbers go up. They've never gone down. They've only gone up, so
Dude, 100%. And I feel like that's why, to me, it makes me so fucking happy to hear you talk about, like, how this one YouTube made one of your songs just totally blow up on Spotify. Because again, I feel like this is true resilience. I mean, I can't speak for other people, but I know for me, at the end of the day, I'm like, context is everything, intention is everything. And if we cannot look past intention and context, then we shouldn't be using people's words against them. Now you're just being biased for no fucking reason.
Yeah, they just
You
want to
know?
shut me down. They just want to shut any platform that I might have down. And it's not just against the trolls; it's against social media. These trillion-dollar companies that try to do everything they can to keep me from influencing the people they want to influence. And it's like, yeah, whatever, guys. We just talked about the music now. You guys win. I mean, you can ban me off, whatever, and then I can't promote the band. So I never thought that they would go to that level, but 2020 showed us all that they will. If you're saying things they don't like, they'll just kick you right off, and nobody cares. Nobody's like, oh, that could be me. And they're like, well, you better, shut up. We're all gonna have to shut up now. And it's
Yeah.
funny because like anybody who is out there, speaking truth to power, it's like you're saying the same thing the mainstream media says. You're so brave. It's like, if you're saying the same thing that these big corporations and the media behind them are saying about whoever or whatever, it's like you're not brave. you know what box you're allowed to speak inside of, and you don't dare go outside that, and it's like Green Day, it's like, oh, you're so brave, dude. You're saying the same stuff that like Wall Street Journal would say, okay?
Well, and the
So
fucking irony about people that are like, no, they're not influencing me. Like I've got my own opinions,
yeah,
but
oh
yet,
yeah,
but yet
sure.
they're the ones that are fucking trolling your page with comments about, oh, you did this, you said that. It's like, okay, well, I thought you couldn't be influenced. I thought you're against that, but yet here you are falling for
Oh
their
yeah.
fucking bait. But you know what? Fuck it, because here you are, 2025, still being asked to do interviews. So at the end of the day, they're not gonna
Yeah,
fucking
we
win.
we just we care about our fans, and that's all, and like, and the venues who stand strong against, cancel culture crap. I just that to me is the coolest thing, is that, we've seen venues just get harassed by these people, probably the same people keying Teslas, and that's amazing. Like, you're gonna, like, that Tesla owner believes in the same thing you do, and you're gonna key their car. So that it just shows the craziness of these people. But at the same time, it's like, if you're a venue, you don't have to deal with that, and they do it anyways. They do the shows, and we literally 10% or less of these 10% or less of the venues are canceling shows because they're getting bombarded by these trolls. So I just think that's awesome. Like having 3 shows out of 35 or something like that in a 2 or 3 month period. We try to do 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off kind of thing. But yeah, to see them stand strong just means the world to us. And at the end of this year, I mean, this acoustic tour is also setting up our 25th anniversary. So we want to know where the this where we're going to do the strongest numbers and the venues that had our back most strongly, and that's what we're so excited for, is that we've got a good 100 venues out there that will stand strong, and and not cave to this stuff, and that's
Absolutely.
Charger. But yeah, it's just awesome to see that. Like I said, yeah, it's his 25th anniversary tour, so we're going to announce the dates, because that's going to go all through 2027, but we're going to announce the dates next summer next year, or probably a little earlier than that. I would hope to do it by like April, and then just get a good 8 months, to promote this thing. And that helps with the whole social media thing and them making things harder, but it's like, that's what you gotta do. You just gotta adapt to the situations that you're put in, and if there's one thing that I could tell fans, is that you can get through any obstacle in your life, that you never give up. I mean, that's it, and it's not like there's no reason for us to give up. It's like we are in a great position and just doing well. I mean, like, our shows are, we're so excited about how these acoustic shows are going, and we know that our 25th anniversary tour is just going to be off the hook. We know it. So it's like they can keep on trying to do, hurt us in whatever way they want to try, but they're failing that. So it's just a beautiful thing to see.
Dude, totally. And I feel like that's also just, in general, I feel like that's such a good message, because this is really the only way to get through anything in life. Like you said, you just have to keep pushing. You can't allow other people and their opinions to dictate how exactly it is you're going to live your life. And
Yeah.
also, to me, the best part about all of this is that, in my opinion, you're not really doing anything good with your life if you're not ruffling any fucking feathers. And so,
Yeah. Right.
you're on the right track when you've got people having to go out of their way to twist people's words in order to gain a negative, opinion or negative anything. That's when,
Yeah.
in my opinion, one of your I've made it fucking moments, So hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you could lose fans, lose venues, all this stuff, and 90% of our fans, those venues, have had our back, and it could be the opposite, right? You could lose 90% of your fans, and 90% of the venues don't want to work with you, and that just hasn't happened. And I know that there's people in the music industry who would love to see that happen, and
Totally.
it's sad that they're that vindictive. But then look at what they're doing to Elon Musk and Tesla owners. It's like, go after Elon, sure. If you don't like him, it's a free country. But I mean, to go there and vandalize people's property because of they decided to buy a Tesla a few years ago. I just think that's the type of people who are coming at the track. So
So crazy.
I think that the more that venues decide, we're not gonna adhere to, or listen to these cancel culture people, and we're not going to be a part of that, the less the power they'll have. And it's really awesome. It's beautiful to see that. Like I said, the more it happens, the more discouraged these people will be to go and do those kind of things. So it's really about, got to stand strong against cancel culture and not give these people any wins. Anytime you go, if venue doesn't want to do a show because they're getting harassed by these people, then you go, well, let's find another venue. We're not canceling that show. And so, there's been a few times where we've had to do that. And I think hopefully, the fans see the dedication to, hey, we're doing this. We told you we're coming to play and we're going to do that. But fortunately, it happens rarely. And the more venues are educated on the facts and that what really happened, instead of listening to these people just call me this or call me that without even looking at our side of, like what was said, all that stuff. There's like, oh, we don't want to deal with it. But that's just, like I said, it's such a rare thing.
Well, it also shows good fucking business because it's like, the fact that you're not able to pivot as a business and capitalize on the fact that you're in everyone's fucking mouth, then you probably shouldn't be running a business in the first place?
Yeah.
So I love that, you're standing on your ground and wanting to support the people that have showed you the support. And
Yeah.
very quickly, because something that I was very fascinated about, you just talked about the love for your fans, the love for these venues. Something that you have been open about in the past was your love for BMX back in your earlier days,
Oh,
right?
definitely.
So I definitely had to, think a little bit outside of the box on how I can incorporate that into the interview to get you think quick on your toes and again, ask you questions you haven't been asked before. So very quickly, okay? I'm
Yeah.
going to give you some either tricks or something BMX related, whether it's a
Okay.
word, a trick, or something. And I want Chris to tell me what's the first thing that comes to mind if you were to write a song inspired about this object, trick, etc. Are you ready?
Do it.
Now, I know for sure you haven't done that. I've done my research, all right?
Cool.
All right, the first one I have is bar spin. It's a trick on the BMX bike. What would a song inspired by a bar spin be about? I've got an idea, but I don't know anything about BMX, but I'm curious to see what you'd say.
I'd write a song called Truck Driver.
Truck driver?
That's a 360, and in the middle of that 360, a bar spin. Yeah, it's like how a
Perfect.
truck driver kind of reverses out.
Hell yeah, I love that. My mind definitely did not even go there, dude. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not going to ask for credit for any of these songs if they come into fruition, all right? You can keep them.
That's funny.
The next one I have is you talked about having memories of bike parks when you were younger with your friends. If Chris were to write a song about bike parks out in California, what would the song be about?
I wish I could think of the name of this Calabasas Park. That's what it would be called.
Perfect. I love it.
Calabasas Park.
I wrote in parentheses for this one memories for the first one. The only thing I could come up with was like, the bar spin. I think that's, yeah, bar spin. It would be about a song about losing grip or some shit.
Okay, yeah, right.
All right, the last one I have for you, real quick, Chris, is tail whip. Whatever the fuck this is, I have no idea what it is. But you, in an interview 10 or so years ago, you were like, this was my favorite trick. So, what would that song be about?
A teleweb?
Tail whip?
Tail whip. Got it. Oh yeah. Well, it would have to be a song about tornadoes.
Amazing.
Getting caught in a tornado doing tail whip.
Dude, this sounds like it could be a movie too.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next segment because I'm actually really excited about this one. Okay.
Right on.
So, inspired by a caption on Instagram where you wished your girlfriend, now fiance, the best birthday ever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay. I mean, I try to do that once a year.
Well, you wished her a happy birthday, but you spelled, hope you have the best day
Oh,
ever,
Eva. Oh yeah.
EVA.
That's what
Okay.
we do that forever, ever.
Dude, that's exactly what we're going to take inspiration from because I read that caption and immediately I was like, Eva, forever, ever, forever,
Yes,
ever from
that's definitely
Outcast.
that's definitely where that comes from for sure.
Dude,
Yeah,
hell
100%.
yes. That just made my entire fucking day.
You
So
got it.
I was just going to ask if you remembered Outcast and that song, Miss Jackson. So I love that. So
You
the
know it.
first question I have in regards to this, relating it to now your fiance, okay? In this song, there's a line that says you can plan a pretty picnic. If Chris is in charge of setting up the most romantic picnic, what are your must-haves?
Ooh, gotta have some Pinot Noir for my girl. That's her favorite wine. And depending on if it's like super early in the morning, then we'll just have to get some Taco Bell. But other than that, I would say, you gotta have the charcuterie board, you gotta have the cheeses. You gotta have just a nice little picnic blanket and some cool, plates. It's gotta look very park-like, As far as like the main course, I would say just gotta have little like just little sandwiches that you get the finger food sandwiches, like just assortment of those. That's what I would put out. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, the following line in this song by Outkast called Miss Jackson is, "But you can't predict the weather, Miss Jackson. So if bad weather interrupted this picnic of yours, what type
Hmm.
of bad weather would you prefer for it to be?"
I guess I'd rather be snowing.
Dude, that was mine on my list. I was like, I don't want to go with the rain, so it would
Rain
have to be
sucks.
snow. Yes,
Snow would have to be.
absolutely. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thanks for sharing some of your romantic sides with us today, your romantic side with us.
I probably should be more romantic, but I'm learning. I'm trying my best.
Hey, this is your reminder right here, go on a picnic after this tour.
Oh yeah, I gotta make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, before we talk more Trapped real quick, it's obvious that you share a name with another superstar. Can you think of a Chris Brown song that you would cover on acoustic?
I think his best song is Deuces for sure.
Dude, I love that
Deuces.
song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah,
definitely did not have that one on my list, but I do love that song. I put Wall to Wall or With You just because they were the easiest ones to come up with.
right on. That guy has gotten away with everything, but yeah, you're like a super megastar like that. You can probably get away with things that I definitely can't get away with. I can't even get away with a dang joke.
But,
Every single metal and rock website accusing me of, defending or condoning whatever the heck they're saying I'm defending or condoning over a joke. It's pretty funny.
so fucking dumb. And then people don't believe that there is no such thing as double standards, right? I'm like, no,
No,
double standards is a thing, people. Wake the fuck
that's what
up.
they want. They want no double standard. They want two different body types, male, female, to somehow be equal. And it's like that's not gonna happen. You can pretend, and that's what they do. And anybody who's saying it's not equal. Can't expect women to beat men at UFC, which is like, you see like girls getting their cheekbones cracked, and it's just sad, and like
So
to
sad.
the level, the extent some of these people want to go to like just pretend things are equal in all ways. It's just hopefully that doesn't get worse, right? Hopefully it gets better going forward.
No, hopefully we can definitely go backwards on that shit because let me tell you something. It's obviously no fucking secret I'm part of the gay community, but I am not part of the delusion community, all right? Like
Yeah,
there is so much of that shit that I am like, keep me the fuck out of it. I'm definitely with you on that. I am just dumbfounded every single time people try to push this narrative of inclusivity. And I'm like, no, there's a reason why we are separated by more than just our fucking hormones and genes. But that's for another fucking episode, Chris,
yeah,
all
right.
right? Very quickly, I want to talk about one of my favorite album covers from yours because I think it's, in my opinion, one of your best ones. And that's the No Apologies album cover.
Right on.
So, in order for me to bring this up and incorporate it onto the show, just to kind of highlight it and shout it out, I came up with a couple of merch items inspired by this
Cool.
cover. And all I want to know from Chris is if it's a good idea or a flop. Are you ready?
Okay.
First of all, do you remember exactly how many pictures are on this album cover?
I think a couple hundred, like 200 or 300, something like that.
I mean, I definitely didn't take the time to count, but I was like, this would be
It's
a
a
good
lot.
challenge. Yeah, it's a
It would
fuck
take a
ton.
while to make sure you got it. It might, I don't know. It might be like 500. I think it's definitely in the hundreds.
Well, for all the fans listening, there's your first fucking challenge, all right? Go and count and get back to us with that number, okay? The first cheesy merch idea I have, inspired by this album cover, and tell me if it's good or a flop, the No Apologies Puzzle Edition, because this gives me puzzle vibes. Would that be a good idea or a flop?
So just like you have to like find every person's photo and try to make it work. Yeah, that'd be great. I
I
think that'd
think
be
it would be
fun
such a cool idea too. Hell
for
yeah.
sure. Especially for the people whose picture, you know, who sent their pictures in.
Exactly. So if we ever see a 300-piece puzzle on your website, we know it came from this show, so you're welcome.
Got to recreate it. Love it.
Absolutely. The next one I have for you is the No Apologies I Spy with My Little Eye edition. And this would be a game where people can kind of find little hidden objects on it because I thought it would be a good image to look at. Good
Where's
idea or
Waldo?
flop? Fuck yeah.
That'd be great.
Where's Waldo Trapped edition, you know?
Yeah, gotta find Waldo in there.
Amazing. Well, that's all I could come up with. I was like, it's my
That's
favorite
great.
album cover, so I had to kind of put it
Very
on the
creative.
episode. So very quickly though, because now that we're talking about like brainstorming random ideas, on the music video Thinking of You, you're working on this canvas. Was that acting or do you really paint?
When I think of you, I don't think about myself. When I think of you, I don't think about myself. There's no one else. When I think of you.
No, that was definitely just acting. We had just came up with this idea of like I would just paint my girl, and yeah, it was awesome how we were able to take a picture of her and then make it into different stages of a painting. So I just thought that was a cool idea, and yeah, I don't know if how good it would have looked if I would have painted it myself.
Well, if you're ever up for the challenge, pull out a canvas. You know what? You could take the canvas to your picnic and see what you can come up with.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great picnic.
Amazing. Just make sure to send me the picture. I definitely want to see what you come up with on canvas.
I definitely will. Right on.
Well, I definitely want to do some lyric deep dives with you real quick. I know we're
Okay.
kind of getting closer to that hour mark, so I'll move very quickly with you. But this is how I want to kind of honor some of your lyrics real quick. Are you ready?
Yes.
The first one I have is, how do you know if you don't like it if you don't try it first? From your obvious Try It First song.
I have no regrets. I do it again. I follow my heart wherever I am led. No guilty trips. So what if you slip? Nobody's perfect or innocent. Yeah, do you know if you don't like it if you don't try it first? Yeah, do you know if you don't like it if you don't try it first?
Is there anything new that you have tried on this tour that you weren't sure you were going to like that you absolutely liked?
I don't know. We've added some new songs, like acoustic. We added Bulletproof. We're doing a song called Drop Your Guard. It's on the newest album.
With
Uh,
Bulletproof, were you surprised that people liked it on acoustic or that you liked it on acoustic?
yeah, I mean, I think that one actually came from started at, or didn't come from an acoustic guitar. Came
Very cool.
from like an electric, just with this new like program that I had that had this great tone, and I just made up that riff to it. So I mean, we did it for the first time like, Wednesday night, but and and no, we did it Tuesday night. So Tuesday in Savannah, and then Wednesday in Bristol, Tennessee. But yeah, Drop Your Guard. We started playing that one this year, acoustic, and that one comes across really well. Yeah, so definitely. And then Bleed Like Me, started adding that one acoustic into the set. So yeah, a lot of the songs. It's nice to know that a song translates well acoustic. So we're definitely throwing in here, a song here and there to experiment on that. And that's really fun to be able to do.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like those pleasant surprises, it's like you're not going to know if you're not going to try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we try to switch it up.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. From your song Get You Back, you say, what didn't kill you didn't leave you strong enough, which, in my opinion, this is one of my favorite lines ever that you have written because that line, just alone the way it's worded, I'm like, everyone always says, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But, reading that line, it really does fucking take me back, dude. It's my favorite.
What didn't kill you didn't leave you strong enough to bring to life what had become so long. Even if the wars we fight cannot be won, there will be no surrender. 'Cause I fight for us till I get you back in one piece. Lift you out in the cold. A part of you had to let go till I get you back.
From a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being the most, where would you rank this lyric? I obviously rank it a 10. What about you?
Yeah, I think it definitely came from like a real situation that I went through with a girl. Yeah, because a lot of times what can happen to you definitely can leave you somewhat broken, and it's not always easy to heal. Sometimes it's better just to forget. and not be reminded of those things that you just can't wrap your head around because maybe you're just too young when it happened or whatever. And but yeah, it definitely goes deep. I think that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger thing probably not true a lot of the time. So
Dude, that's what I loved about that
uh,
line because
yeah,
it's like it's so true. Like, it's so easy to just say, yeah, it'll make you stronger, it'll make you stronger. But can we acknowledge the fact that sometimes it does leave you fucking broken? Like, what's so
yeah.
wrong about
So
that? So that I
that's
love
kind of
that.
the point of like, did I get you back in one piece? And a lot of times that doesn't, you never get that person back the same way that you had them in the beginning, or that they were the same person they were in the beginning, depending on what was triggered or, what kind of, you know, just at least with you, right? The person who might have hurt their feelings or hurt them in some way, or just like had them discover some things that they don't want to really discover or didn't really want to think about, just in the course of conversations. That
Yeah,
happens. But yeah, I've learned to be a little bit less, you know, inquisitive on certain things and just be more sensitive to what can happen when someone remembers something that they'd rather not. Sometimes
totally.
better left in the dark recesses of your brain, where your brain put them for a reason. And so that I never really thought about that. I was like, you got to understand yourself. You got to go deep and watch your life from the adult in you, not from the child in you. And because the adult in you is just supposed to make sure the child's having fun and doing what fulfills the child, because that's the real you, is the child in you. But the person that we show the world is that adult, and that adult can help other children, but that adult needs to help that child inside. Really, that's the main thing. So that's kind of like where that song comes from. But yeah, I'll give it a 9.
I love it. Amazing. Hell yeah. I'm like, it better be up there with a 9 and 10. To hear you talk about it, I'm like, it better be up there.
Right on.
Amazing. A line from These Walls, which is one of my favorite songs, by the way.
Like clockwork, I commit the crime. I pretend to be everything they like. The year before, yeah, I've seen you before. I can't escape walking down these halls. Had to find a place where there are no walls, and no lines begging me to cross. Always straight ahead, better move along. And I trade everything for this, and I trade everything for this. Why do I read the writing on the wall? Why do I read the writing on the wall?
You say, I pretend to be everything they want, quick, to remind people to fuck their fears and step out of their comfort zone. Give us the best middle finger Zoom has ever witnessed. Go. Hell yeah. And see, and just to teach people a fucking lesson, now I can literally be like, oh my gosh, the lead singer from Trapt flipped me off.
Just turn it into a meme.
Exactly. Amazing. The
Yeah,
last one
really
I
good one.
have. Damn, he flipped me up twice. Amazing. The last one I have for you, and this is in honor of Passenger, which is another song I absolutely love.
Right
If
on.
Chris reaches his destination, will he know it when he finally arrives?
Where you are, I'll go. Passenger, passenger. Why don't you take the wheel? Why don't you push your life into your own hands? If you reach your destination, will you know it when you finally arrive? If it's just for a ride.
I think so. I think that I try to look on the bright side of things, and half the glass half full kind of thing. But definitely things happen to you, and you think that oh, it's not fair, and you're getting beat up and this and that. But then you realize like that's what's making you stronger. Like so, and that's the kind of thing. What doesn't kill you does make you stronger. So I definitely, for me, I think what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. But I know that there are people where that didn't quite happen for, and so I'm a little more sensitive to that, and what might happen to somebody that kind of breaks them, and it's better for them to just put it in the back of their mind than to try and figure it out. But yeah, I think for Trapt, for myself, it's always been the trials and tribulations you go through that make you who you are. So you may not know that that's happening as it's happening, but you can look back and see that's the moment where I rose up a few notches and rose to the occasion that I needed to. It wasn't so fun while the rising was happening, but and the aftermath, you can see that was what was needed to happen, and you got to where you wanted to get to, and you didn't even know.
Dude, well, thank you so much for, first of all, giving me your time while you're on tour. But
Yeah,
more importantly, I am just like covered in complete goosebumps because, first of all, I have to say thank you for doing this with an open mind with me because it's so easy for someone like you to basically go into interviews expecting the worst. Your words to be twisted.
no,
What
that's
are
great.
people going to say? What are they going to bring up that's offensive, that's rude, or bring up the past that's just been talked about so much? So I appreciate the opportunity to sit behind this screen, be resilient, and then just go along with it and come with an open mind. Like I couldn't be, in more of an awe. I'm just in complete awe with you, dude. You're resilient and I love it.
I appreciate you, man. I'm glad that we could do this interview. Though I just thought, your style is a great way, and it makes an artist feel like he's doing something artistic and creative. So I think that's how all anyone who's interviewing someone in a band, like try to get them thinking and have them create some stuff on the fly. So
No,
great.
that means everything coming from you. So thanks again so
Right on.
much for your time. And we'll definitely be in touch on when it'll air and all those
Okay.
details. And I can't wait to tell everyone you flipped me off, dude. This has made my day.
In a positive way.
Hell yeah.
Trying to create that meme for you. So if anyone screws with you, you can just send them me flipping them off.
Exactly. Absolutely. I've got your back. You've got mine. There you go. It's perfect.
Yep. It wasn't to you, it was to your enemy.
There you
Just
go.
remember that.
Exactly. Exactly. Fuck them enemies.
Right on.
Amazing, Chris. Thank you so much. And thanks for answering all those fun questions. Hopefully they were fun. They're cheesy for me,
Yeah.
but
Love
hopefully
it.
fun for you.
Very cool. Love it.
Amazing. Well, have a great rest of your day. Hopefully this also got your endorphins as much as your workout and you can go
Yeah.
and chill out now.
Right on, man. And talk to you very soon. Sure.
Yes, we'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.